Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome down the Whiskey Nook. Saturday, and we're still in March, and we're looking at St. Patrick's Day coming up in the week ahead. So today, I'm going to talk to you about this single malt Irish whiskey from Hyde. Well, no, it's not from Hyde. It's called Hyde 10-year-old single malt from Hibernia. How do I say that? Hibernia Distillers. So when we come back, if I can get the box open, we'll talk about this 10-year-old Irish whiskey.
3, 4.
That was a little bit tricky as I was trying to navigate the box, but I wanted to show you. I thought, you know what, that's kind of cool packaging, you know. Really kind of classy. You can see the bottle, but an interesting little box. You know, what I know about the Hibernia distilleries, I really don't know much at all, is that they're sourcing their whiskey from Cooley, and so this is Irish. Now, it's single malt, so not pot still. Single malt, all malted barley. It does have an age stamp 10 years. And it does say non-chill filtered right on it, which is awesome. It's released at 46%. And from what I can understand, it's aged for those years, 10 years or 9 years, 6 months, unclear, in ex-bourbon. But it's finished in first fill Oloroso sherry butts for 6 months. So it's got a lot of good things going for it. 46%, non-chill filtered, double distilled, single malt. I don't know, have some pretty high expectations for this. Even though it's sourced, I think it's a class release. I waited long enough that it finally went on sale, so I'm able to talk about this whiskey with you. Let's see what the whiskey itself tells us. This is actually a fairly floral nose. By that, it's light, it's sweet, but the fruits tend to be almost perfumey. They can kind of hang around. Yeah, and the fruits that I'm getting are, I don't know, you know, a light pear mixed, yeah, maybe with a little dark red grape. More just general light sweet fruit cup. So fruity, light, sweet, fairly aromatic. Nice nose. We'll see what this whiskey tastes like. If you don't have this Hyde 10-year-old Irish, maybe have some Irish and see if you get similar notes. Sláinte. First, light bright caramels. Second, kind of still in the mouth. Some spicing, some cinnamons, light pepper. Better have a sip. Yeah, a little more expressive. The sherry's coming now in the second sip. So a little bit of darker rind fruit, a little bit of leathering, a little bit of mustier oak. Yeah, okay. So the sherry influence for me, maybe on the nose, but there was pretty light fruiting. It wasn't deep, dark red fruit. It was pretty more just little perfumey, expressive light fruits. First sip was much more light caramels. Okay, then just a pepper. Second sip, now I'm getting into the little bit chewier, a little bit of leathered. And for me, often a sherry cask gives a little bit on that edge of musty oak. One more sip, we'll see what we get. You know, that came together quite well. In fact, it doesn't seem like I'm deep into this bottle, but this actually has been open for some time. And at first, I found the sherry reminded me of the Sexton. Very expressive, very floral, and many like that. For me, it's a little too potpourri, and I didn't. Because it reminded me of that, it was a little less to my liking. Now, with time, not necessarily time through the bottle, but like it's been open for a while, it has settled a little bit. Now, as I talk, the long finish, it's going back into that slight waxy, pulpery, sherry note that I sometimes get on some ex-sherried whiskey. So I don't know if it'll come back if I just have more of it. We'll see. Is this good Irish whiskey? Absolutely. When it came out in my area, the price was significantly higher than it should be for a sourced whiskey. Still, 46, non-chill filtered, finished in first fill ex-sherry. There's a lot of things going for it. So, it's tough to really knock it for saying this is a top tier whiskey, but I'm thankful that I bought it for about half the price that it came out for, because at that price, it puts it really in the same neighborhood as I'm going to compare it to the Kilbeggan here. And then I can talk about, is it worth it, is it not? For me, this sat right around, I know I just knocked it down, but it actually is a pretty good whiskey, and I'm happy to give it a 4 stars for Irish. Like this is good. And certainly if you like your ex-sherry, is it a sherry monster? By no means. I think it actually trends more towards the ex-bourbon that it's been aged in, but it certainly has layers of ex-sherry that I can pick through. I don't really get into any chocolates though that I sometimes get, but so I'm happy to give it a pretty good rating for me. I've been pretty stingy with my rating lately. That's my thoughts. I wanted to just kind of compare it to what I shot last week, which was the Kilbeggan. Now this is single pot still, so we've got malted and unmalted barley. It also has 2.5% oats in the mash, which is, I think, unique to Kilbeggan. I mean, maybe it's not, because I also heard it's quite a traditional addition way back when they needed the husks of the oats to try to, keep the mash from spoiling. I know we don't need to do that anymore. But it's 43%. I think this one is only ex-bourbon. I should have looked that up before I did this comparison. But let's see how it is different on the nose. This is sweeter. It's already feeling kind of richer, more relaxed. Yeah, fruits are cooked down, mellow. Yeah, the Hyde 10. A little sour on the nose this time. Now I'm getting, maybe it's power suggested, now I'm getting an edge of chocolate. But in comparison, it's kind of sharper, a little more sour. And this one is richer, fuller. This is a more welcoming nose, actually. Sláinte. And a more welcoming palate. It's full, buttery, honey sweet. Yeah, this is an easier drinking dram. This is an easy one to sing a whiskey song to and just pour and relax. This has some good flavors though. Yeah, it's quite bright. It's a little sharp in this contrast. So spicier, more pepper, and it's punchier. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't even recall. It's only been a week what I gave this one, but I feel like they're both, solid 4-star Irish whiskeys, but would have different appeals. This one's pepperier, spicier, but definitely more floral sherry. This round, chewy, sweet, approachable, just knock back and relax. That's my thoughts. I know I didn't pick a winner because they're really quite different, but maybe one of them kind of appealed to you. I hope you guys have had a great week, and we're heading into better weather where I am. So snow melts, then comes back, then melts again. But actually, it's quite positive to be in that awakening of the season. It's really, really nice. Cheers and have a great week.